Hey everybody, and welcome to the Grifball Hubcast episode 232. I am Goose Checka, and I'm joined by...
Cal.
Rally.
Hey, we did it!
Hey, guess what?
What?
I'm back.
You back?
I'm back.
You back?
Yes, Cal is officially back, which is wonderful because that means all the stress of running the technology is not mine anymore.
That's nice.
Yes, it is. That was, I'm pretty sure I got some gray hair from that. So yes, Cal is back. So welcome back, Cal. Your very first Hubcast back.
Yeah. No, webcams. Did we not have webcams before?
No.
We stopped doing webcams while I was away?
Yeah. Yeah.
We wanted to have like the big contrast of when you left to when you came back so we could see if you were the same person or not.
Well, it's like Hubcast and then Hubcast Classic, and people don't know that they like the original until they get the Classic, and like, hey, we want the old stuff back. So
it's like Coke.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, Cal, the haircut. No, I don't approve. It'll grow back.
I got more than one haircut.
You got a lot of hairs cut.
I got all my hairs cut.
Yeah.
All your hair's cut?
Loop day. Never forget.
That was the worst day of my life.
Okay. To be clear, our streaming setup is
stupid complicated.
It is stupid complicated. When I talk to other streamers about our setup, one, they think it's really neat, the kind of things we can do. Like, we can do the multiple webcam shots, we can be running B-roll and a news ticker, and our Grifball stream's going to have instant replay and things like that. Like, all of that is really, really neat. Like, one of the best stream quality, with all our knickknacks and bells and whistles. However, getting all that stuff set up, it's crazy. It's stupid complex.
And it doesn't work. Like, sometimes it will just stop working.
It's user error.
In the middle of it. Excuse me?
I
was streaming a game. Everything was fine. And then the audio just stopped. It just stopped. There was no reason. No one pushed a button.
User error.
Stopped.
Well, one of the reasons why it's stupid complex is because I use a Mac for streaming. And most streaming systems that people use are PCs. So there's a lot of software built for PCs and less software built for Macs. So I use about 5 different programs to stream, each one doing its own thing.
It makes me sad. It makes me really sad.
Yeah, so I use one program for all the graphics and stuff. I use iTunes for audio and background music. I use Audacity to record. I use Coco Split to push it out to Twitch. So there's a lot of things.
So as fascinating as that is, and I'm sure for some people it is.
Not me.
I don't know how we got here,
well,
but Cal's back.
Speaking of things that don't always work.
Oh. Ouch.
Yeah. That's quite a transition, huh?
Wow, that's like a low blow.
It hurts.
Yeah. So the Master Chief Collection came out. That's about all it's done. Is come out.
That's really funny.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so the Master Chief Collection came out. We played through the Halo 2 Anniversary campaign.
We did, in one sitting.
Worked.
In one sitting.
What level? On what difficulty?
Heroic, because Cal won't play on Legendary.
Why?
No.
Even co-op you won't play Legendary?
I might do Legendary someday, but
Cal has never played Legendary on any
game.
Played.
Is that like your politician answer? I'll play Legendary someday.
Yeah. I mean, I've never beaten a game on Legendary, unlike you. You've beaten Halo 2 on Legendary, which Halo 2 is the hardest game. But I've never beaten on Legendary.
Yeah.
Probably could, maybe, if I had enough days to do it. Oh, was Leo playing on Legendary last night?
Yeah, he was doing Legendary run on CE.
Yeah.
The only one I haven't beaten on Legendary is CE, and I haven't even finished that one.
At all?
No, yeah, I've never finished that.
Well, anyway, the MCC, the Master Chief Collection, launched, and then it kind of floundered. And
Kinda.
It's been a really painful experience kind of on all ends, because the matchmaking, as anybody know who has tried, if you can get a game, that's awesome, but most of the time you're just sitting in the lobby by yourself. Literally, we've had a lobby up for 10, 20 minutes and not gotten a match. Custom games, I know, Cal, you have a list of, I think we're up to 17 bugs now with custom
Wow.
games.
Yeah, 17 different bugs or issues that have arisen that are directly impacting Grifball. Last night, we ran... Well, okay. To rewind, take a couple steps back. Back when Halo Reach launched, and when Halo 4 launched, they were relatively easy launches. They pretty much did everything we knew they were going to do. So when the games launched, we were able to build Grifball, we were able to build Quartz, Forge worked as intended. Halo 4, the main difficulty that came up was with the file share, because there wasn't an online file share on Waypoint, so you had to go into Halo 4, type in somebody's gamer tag to access their file share and download stuff. So that was an extra step we had to do for the first GGL season. But other than that, things were pretty calm, and things were able to get done. Our main focus on when those games launched was getting the game type settings correct and making awesome maps. We assumed that the Master Chief Collection would have been similar, because every other Halo game has had a pretty flawless launch when it comes to this sort of thing. But that wasn't the case, sadly. Like I said, like Goose mentioned, there are 17 different bugs and issues that we've noticed so far. Everything from people can't change teams in the pregame lobby. Like, they go to the option to change teams, but instead of red and blue, it's just blank.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. Parties are an absolute nightmare to work with right now.
Which we found out last night during our brawls.
Yeah, you invite somebody to your party, you have 50-50 chance of them coming in, maybe about 25% chance of the party just exploding when somebody gets there. So trying to get 4 people in a party to play matchmaking or something is terrible. If you try to bring 9 people into a party for a 4v4 Grifball match plus a streamer, like, it is just terrible. Terrible. The party just keeps exploding. Sometimes the party leader switches, and there's absolutely no way to switch it back except blowing up the party and trying all over again. And then sometimes the maps and game types just vanish, that you have them saved locally, but they're just not there anymore. So it's pretty difficult to work with. Like, you almost cried last night.
I didn't almost cry.
Like, one time you picked up your controller and the party exploded.
Yeah, I hit a button and...
Like, your controller turned off because, it had been idle for too long. So you hit the button to turn it back on, and we got a never-ending connecting to your game screen. And so we had to exit to the dashboard, manually quit the Master Chief Collection, and then reboot it all.
Yeah.
Weren't you guys playing co-op and one of you got dropped and the other didn't?
That was in a matchmaking game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were playing matchmaking, and from the pregame party, like, Goose dropped, but I was still there.
That's just bizarre.
Yeah, and so that's the matchmaking stuff. And then even campaign. Like, we've had it where the game is just seized up when you go into the loading screen for campaign for a couple of different levels. So it's...
So what is this, like, they just released a half-baked game, or what?
I would guess, just a guess, but probably about half of the problems came from the fact that there are, like, 4 different developers working on this game. Not only
really?
Cutscenes, you had certain affinity doing portions like Forge, you had a couple other studios doing other pieces of it, and then you're working with Bungie's old code, plus 343 trying to piece it all together with the UI, and plus other parts of Microsoft that just do the hardware and overall operating systems of the Xbox One. Not to overuse a recent reference, but I think it's a case of too many cooks.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, though, even they did all that, shouldn't have gone through some sort of quality control to make sure everything actually worked. Because it really sounds like it just never, like, they got all this, threw it together, said, "Hey, here's your game so we could get it out on release date," and, oh, by the way, it doesn't work now. I'm
going to give 343 the benefit of the doubt that everything was tested and everything worked in one form or another at some point in the development process. Mm-hmm. However, when you start adding additional layers onto it and building the game, I'm guessing the final product wasn't as well tested as it should have been. That there's probably, like, for example, the Halo 3 Forge thing. So we can't do Halo 3 Grifball at all right now.
Nope.
Because Halo 3 Forge is missing a menu that was there originally that lets you switch what game type you're forging for. So people can't place bomb spawns and plants and things like that. They're just not there because you can't switch to assault. Mm-hmm. And so I'm guessing at some point when they ported it, that option was there and it was tested. But as they were compiling things and adding more things to the game, at some point there was a glitch and it vanished, and they just never caught it. They just never tested it again.
I think one of the bugs that really kind of tells the entire story of the MCC is that when you win a game, you come in first.
Oh, I heard about that, yeah.
Number 1, TH.
First.
I mean, that's some kind of thing. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has typos. But with a game of this caliber and this quality, there are some things, that are going to go wrong. No launch is perfect. But there are things in there that are just like, really?
You don't. I mean, this really it almost has the feeling like almost like they wanted to rush and make sure it got out before the holidays.
What I've kind of been wondering is that the games coming out are getting more and more complex when it comes to graphics, when it comes to design, when it comes to interface, online integration, dedicated servers, all of that. But they're still given probably even less time than they've been given in the past. And so it feels like they just keep getting... I mean, I feel bad for 343 because they're trying to please too many people, and they are not given, in my opinion, not given all the resources and time that they need. Because if they had all the resources and time they needed, this wouldn't be an issue. This wouldn't have happened. So I think it's a matter of doing the best you can with what you got when you don't have everything and you're on a very, very crunched timeline.
I mean, honestly, they already took this one step because Spartan Ops isn't included.
Yeah.
And they said that Spartan Ops is something that they're going to be releasing in a month or two. They just said, okay, we're not making Spartan Ops by the deadline, so Spartan Ops is not included in the disc. It's going to be free DLC whenever it's done. And I wish they had done this with other parts of the game. Like, I would have enjoyed this more if they just did, here's Halo 2 Classic, here's Halo 2 Anniversary.
Yeah.
Everything else will be free DLC when it's done. So go ahead and buy the game, spend your $60, get all the Halo 2 stuff. That's all done perfectly. And free DLC, Halo 1 will be ready in a month. Halo 4 and 5, or Halo 3 and Halo 4, those will be ready in January with all the theater and Forge stuff all set. So they can give themselves more time and just release it piecemeal. Like, I would have much preferred that than just release everything and everything is half-assed.
It's just hard. Like, I understand that there's problems with matchmaking, then I'll go into customs. If there's problems with customs, I go into campaign. But there's problems in each one of these areas. Campaign is probably the least problematic. But again, we've been in the middle of a run and have it cop out to where we had to decide, we were halfway through, do we go back and do it again, or do we just skip to the next level because it froze and died on us? And so it's really hard. It's really hard since obviously, we know 343, we know the people that work there, we know that they work really hard, but this is bad. I mean, if it's coming from us,
Yeah.
And I guess in hindsight, the no dedicated servers for custom games,
oh god,
makes a lot of sense now.
So 1 week ago, like 9 a.m. last Thursday, we were expecting, hey, these games are going to come out. It's going to be awesome. We'll have dedicated servers for Halo 3 and Halo 4. We're going to run our first brawls the week at release, GGL signups 10 days afterwards. We'll let people submit highlights, make a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Dedicated servers for things, moving everything over to the Xbox One. AGLA is going to be played on dedicated servers come January. Like, we had all those hopes and dreams just 1 week ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now we don't.
Now it's like, we can't even make a Halo 3 court. Like, we can't even make Foundry. We can't even make Foundry court.
I mean, we had a bunch of brawls scheduled, and we had to cancel them all because of how the brawl last night went. The fact that we had the game took about 6 minutes to get played because it was a very fast game, but it took an hour to get everybody in the lobby. Everybody was there. Wow. Everybody was ready. But just the process of getting out invites, bringing people in, having the party fall apart, reestablishing the party, reestablishing hosts, things like that. It took an hour for a 6-minute game.
That's ridiculous.
And yeah, it's not fair to the captains or the players, or so we scrapped them because we don't want to put anybody through that.
No, and that's really what it comes down to is when we run a brawl or we run the GGL with Xbox One divisions, we will be requiring players to play the Master Chief Collection. We'll be requiring them to try this and get frustrated, get booted from games, impossible to build parties, virtually impossible to even download the maps and game types. And that's just not something we can put people through.
We won't.
Yeah, it's such a nightmare working with this that we just can't ask people to do that.
So right now we're kind of in the situation of, GGL signups are on the 21st. It's only a week away. Do we do?
Do they have a like, do they have an update scheduled that we know? Like we'll have this fixed, or we're gonna have an update by whatever date announced, or anything?
They've been pushing out patches daily,
And
like once or twice a day, and
it's still not right.
Almost all of it has been focused on matchmaking. Like,
because matchmaking.
Well,
like,
yeah, that's the big moneymaker.
Yeah, I mean, in matchmaking, it's something that impacts 100% of the players. Like, everybody plays matchmaking.
Right.
Your game sold millions of copies, and millions of people can't play games in matchmaking. So that's the number one concern. That's the thing that's most on fire. So that's what they're focusing on this week. Certain Affinity tweeted out to Forger saying, "Hey, we're doing a big Forge patch soon," but they don't have a specific date for when that'll happen. And we've heard from 343 has contacted us personally and said, "Hey, we've heard about your issues, and they're on our to-do list."
it's
But
probably a really long to-do list.
Yeah.
long. Like, there's a sticky thread in the Halo subreddit that lists all the bugs, and it doesn't even have all the bugs that we've identified.
Yeah.
And even that is a mile long, because it's like there's really not really any part of the game that's untouched by bugs or unfinished things. Like, we even talked about the maps and game types, like how you download those.
It's almost impossible. If you want to go to someone's file share to download a map or game type, you have to be friends with that person, and that person has to be currently online. Like, that's the only way right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to download the latest Grifball map and Knockyard, logs off for the night, you can't get it.
You're stuck.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Wow, that's not good. So what's the big question? Do you wait to see if they fix it before having the next league, or do you go back to just using like what we've done in the past?
I mean, our options, if nothing changes, right now it'd be a 360 only league. I mean, I figure that's kind of our worst case scenario.
If both captains are, masochists and want to play their game in a
how long do we wait to make that decision, though? I mean, we could be looking at over a month before things get sorted out to where it's usable.
Yeah. I figure there's always more Grifball leagues.
Yeah.
That the GGL is going to run from, December and January. The AGLA will be starting in January. So I figure the league should just stay on their normal schedule. And when the Master Chief Collection is fixed, we'll use it. But until then, we can be on the Xbox 360. That, who knows, they might release a patch this weekend.
Yeah.
That fixes a bunch of things, and we can go, great, we'll go with our original plans. But, if that doesn't happen, then we got the Xbox 360 to fall back on, at least. Although that is something that Frankie mentioned. He posted to NeoGaf and mentioned that a lot of these unable to join party issues are tied with the exact same server issues that are befuddling matchmaking. So as they fix matchmaking, he's hoping that it will also
fix the party
fix a lot of these party issues, but we'll see.
So a lot of unknowns right now, and it's...
But we'll probably make a call for the GGL early next week.
Yeah.
Give captains some time before signups open to, if they have to rearrange their teams and figure out who's got a 360, who doesn't. I mean, it really sucks because we had a lot of plans for some things for the hub, some really cool things, but unfortunately, one, with no dedicated servers, and two, with the game not working in any form or fashion, it's difficult to put all these in motion.
That's kind of the big thing, isn't it? The game not working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, even, the fact that we can assign a specific person to be host is kind of cool, but you can't get that many people in a party without it exploding.
Yeah. So that's kind of where that is. Although I do feel like I should point out that Assassin's Creed Unity also is having some really huge launch issues as well. So.
What kind of issues are they having? I haven't heard anything just because all I've heard is the Halo stuff.
My personal favorite, somebody took a screenshot of a female character, and it's like her face entirely was gone.
Oh, was that Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, like it was just like
That's hilarious.
That females were hard to animate.
Exactly.
I saw those pictures. I didn't know that's what they were from. That's really funny.
Are having that same problem. A friend of mine that I follow, another psychologist on Twitter, he's like, yeah, I fell in Assassin's Creed Unity, and this is what happened. And it looks like the entire world just like elevated 10 feet above him. He's like walking in like a subterranean.
Nice.
So, because it seems to be happening more often. I know Grand Theft Auto had a really rocky launch. I think Battlefield had a really rocky launch too. So it makes
Destiny did.
Destiny, yeah. So I'm wondering. It sounds like it's more of a systematic issue.
Destiny's launch was fixed like within a day or two, wasn't it?
Yeah, like most of the problems, most of the times when a game launches, the server issues are fixed within like 48 hours.
Yeah.
There's a couple notable exceptions, but 90% of which are EA games that it goes on for like forever with server issues. But yeah, the Master Chief Collection is definitely in the realm of worst launches ever when it comes to games that are this tied to online play.
So yeah, that's fun. That's a good time. And I mean, it's been fun to go back and play the campaign. Like, we did let Halo 2 anniversary, and it was gorgeous, and it was so fun to toggle back and forth between the two, the old and the new, and, you know, go back and play Delta Halo, which is my favorite, and, you know, it was a really good time. But I want to play Halo 2 online. I want to go on to Lockout and Warlord, and I just can't.
Well, you also want to play what you paid for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
there used to be an old adage in video games when a game got released or a game got delayed that a game that's released is crappy forever, but if you delay it, it actually can be a good game by the time it's delayed, by the time it's released. For example, you know, two great examples was Oblivion, was originally supposed to be an Xbox 360 launch title. It was supposed to come out in November of 2005, Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
But Bethesda said this game... Huh?
When did it come out?
It came out in March 2006.
Oh, that's right. It came out with the second wave after they sold everything. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, Bethesda delayed it for 5 months, or 4 or 5 months, because it wasn't ready, it was too buggy, and they needed more time to work on it. So they delayed it 4 months, and it turned out to be an excellent game, like one of the best games ever. And on the flip side, you have a game like, you know, going back a little ways, like Knights of the Old Republic 2, which was a game that was rushed to meet a Christmas deadline, and that was before, you know, you could have patches for console games. Yeah. And it was a game that turned out to be crappy forever. That had like 80% of the story was there, and then there was no conclusion to it, and it just kind of ended. And you could definitely tell all the cut content at the end as they were rushing to get it out the door.
I wonder if because patches are such a normal thing now, if maybe that is some of the reason why things aren't as polished when they're going out the door, is because, oh, well, we can fix that later. You know, we can get the skeletal structure out there, but you know, the muscle and the sinew and the synapses, you know, we can patch that later. And I don't know.
I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, that it's publishers can push to have games released on a big release day, like, hey, November 11th, let's get this out the door.
Yeah.
And think, oh, we can fix it later. Or even the Master Chief Collection did this, where, hey, the game goes gold a month before it's released, so we can get all the discs printed, but there can be a day one update. Yeah. Like in the Master Chief's Collection's case, none of the campaigns are included on the disc. None of the matchmaking... Well, one campaign. Only Halo 4 is included on the disc.
Yeah.
Really?
And none of the matchmaking's on the disc. That's all in the day one update.
Really?
Or at least they're not unlocked. Like, if you were to try to play the game without the day one update, you can access Halo 4's campaign, and that's it.
Wow. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, so they were... And they even said this when they announced the day one patch, is that, hey, we're going to keep working on things to get multiplayer perfect by the time launch day comes. So they could work, while the discs were being printed, still work on improving the game.
So like, if you don't have an internet connection, you just bought Halo 4 again?
Pretty much. Like,
wow.
You need the day one patch. There's no way... there's absolutely no way to play the game and get anything out of it unless you have an internet connection and download 20 gigs. And I just wonder... I mean, there's going to be more patches. There's going to be one this weekend and probably many more after that to get things fixed. I can just imagine how long the patch notes are going to be.
There's probably one right now.
Yeah.
It's going to take up like all of your hard drive with patches.
So yeah, it's been a rough couple of days. I don't mean necessarily for us, because I mean mostly for 343.
I mean, yeah,
they definitely got it rougher than we do.
I do feel bad that they've got. I mean, they're catching so much flack, and I mean, a lot of it is deservedly so. But they're catching a lot of flack from a lot of people, a lot of angry fans. And they got to be running around with their hair on fire trying to fix everything, because there's just so many things wrong.
You know, I mean, if they're catching a lot of flack, I mean, whether it's their fault or not. Ultimately, it's their game. So, I mean, I can't say I have any sympathy for them for is considering how much of the game is broken. It just sounds like they should have said, "Look, we need to delay it. It's not right. You know, at least get it half right, not like this. This sounds like it's just a brick."
Yeah, I wish they'd cut more things like they did Spartan Ops. Hey, we'll put it in later instead of Halo the Master Chief Patch Collection. It says Dead Dragon. Yeah, that's about right.
The Master Chief Patch Collection, yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of been how it's been received pretty much everywhere. And it sucks because it is, and when it works, it's gorgeous. Like when we did get a Grifball game going, it's beautiful, running at 60 FPS.
Apocryphal said it was the best game of Grifball he's ever played.
And it was smooth, and it was lovely.
And there are a lot of little better that just the Halo. I mean, Halo 4 has always had decent netcode on the 360.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not nearly as bad as Halo 3, but even on the Xbox One, you can tell the netcode's improved. Like stiff arms connect more often. It feels less like there's a host advantage. It feels less like, players are connecting differently. It feels very smoothed over, even without dedicated servers for the games. And then the 60 frames per second and 1080p and all that is pretty gorgeous.
So when it works, it's awesome. And the problem is that it's not working the majority of the time.
Well, at least you get a sample taste of it, so there's hope and there's at least something to look forward to because it will eventually get fixed. It's just a matter of waiting for, I would just, for me, I mean, I don't have it, obviously. I mean, I think I've said that all along. I'm not going to get it right away. But if I had bought it and I couldn't play it right now, I'd be pretty royally pissed off that I spent money on something that I basically couldn't really use.
And there's actually an article, I think it was on Polygon, about why it's a good thing when launches fail. Because, for example, we're getting into a point where the market is so saturated with games, it's really hard to find time to play anything. So if you have a botched launch like Halo, Master Chief Collection, and I know the Destiny servers were down for like 7 hours the other day for maintenance and repair, it actually gives you space to kind of breathe. And so the author recommended not pre-ordering and not buying day one, giving it some time to fix things out so that way you can play other things. Like, I know we have Chariot, which we're just getting around to playing, and a lot of people went back to play Borderlands or other small games that they, with all these blockbuster titles coming out back to back to back, having a failed launch actually gives the gamer space to play other things, which I think is an interesting way of looking at it. Kind of a silver lining there. But I think that's all that there really is to say about the launch. It's rough. It's going to get better. And even stuff like Nightfall, the video, or the movie that was on there, the film, a lot of people can't even watch it. I know Pup it just keeps loading up the Halo 2 vid-doc for him. And I saw somebody else on Twitter, it loaded up and it was a completely different video. I know we haven't even tried that yet, but even something I don't want to say it's as simple, because I obviously have no idea what it takes to get it on the disc or in the content. But something as simple as watching a video isn't even synced up right, and people are having trouble watching it.
Yeah.
But it comes with the Halo 5 beta, so,
That's another thing that's rough.
Did that work or no?
It's not up yet.
Oh, okay.
Halo 5 beta is right after Christmas, a couple days after Christmas.
But
that's another thing that's difficult to see, is you see excited 343 employees who are in the Halo 5 division who are working on Halo 5.
Yeah.
Like our buddy Kevin Franklin. Like, they're working on Halo 5. Kevin Franklin has nothing to do with the Master Chief Collection right now.
Nope.
But even he is being drawn into doing stuff for the Master Chief Collection because it's all hands on deck for that.
Yeah.
And you see people tweet excitedly about Halo 5, 343 employees who are actually working on it. And you understand that it's not their job to work on the Master Chief Collection, and putting them on that project would probably be more detrimental than helpful. But still, it makes you think, 343 is so focused on Halo 5, they don't care about the Master Chief Collection. Like, there's a rule in programming that, having two programmers work on one problem doesn't make it fixed twice as fast.
That's true.
It's like the idea that, hey, one woman can have a baby in 9 months, therefore 9 women should be able to make a baby in 1 month. It's like, that logic doesn't always work. You've never.
I like that. I really like that. I think
It's
like
that's
the
got
idea
to be the funniest thing you've said in a long time.
Yeah, it's a classic example of like bad managers, bad bosses. Get the idea that hey, yeah,
I've never
Poor
heard of
use
that.
of your resources.
I'm using that. I'm gonna have to find other ways to use that now in my life.
that's how programmers.
Like a T-shirt out of that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
next Grifball T-shirt.
that's how a lot of programmers. Why throwing more programmers at a problem doesn't make it
Doesn't
solved
fix
any
it.
faster.
No. And that was another thing on top of all the shenaniganry with the MCC release, there was a big Halo 5 leak, which I know some people on the hub were not happy that we kind of shut down because we reminded people, don't talk about leaked content, don't link to leaked content. But then 343 came out and legitimized all the leaked content, so then it was okay to talk about it. So it was a headache.
There was the big reveal for Halo 5 Guardians. It was the last day of Halo Fest, the day before the game came out. It was quite a bit.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. Riley, did you see any of it?
No, I haven't seen a thing. Please enlighten me.
There was like a 9-minute vid doc they released. They had a bunch of pros playing it at the event. Basically, it's Halo. I don't want to give the wrong impression, but it's kind of like Halo 4 on steroids. That in addition, well, first of all, there's some things that they scrapped from Halo 4 and Reach to bring it back more towards Halo 2 and 3. For example, there's no loadouts. Everybody has equal starts. Everybody starts with the same weapon, the same arena type gameplay. But what they have added are a bunch of new Spartan abilities. Like Frank O'Connor said, it was similar to like adding vehicle jacking or things like that to the game. Some of them include everybody has a thruster pack. So strafing, you always have a thruster pack. Strafing back and forth is a thing you do now that to avoid gunfire and have increased mobility. There's a ground pound move. So when you jump up, you can activate your thruster and punch into the ground.
So we can thrust and ground pound now?
Yes. Yes.
Go on.
So you basically punch into the ground and have a little splash damage type thing. It's similar to a move that some folks can do in Destiny. One of the classes can do in Destiny.
Which sucks.
There's get hit by it.
There's climbing now. So when you jump,
what climating? Is that what to do with the weather?
Climbing?
Oh, I think it's climating. Climating. I was like, what? I thought you were being funny.
It's where you have that reach armor ability that makes you all electrified.
Is it where you have make clouds come in and
inclement weather?
Inclement weather. Yeah. So you if you jump and miss your jump, you can grab onto the ledge and pull yourself up.
That's cool.
There's sliding. So if you're sprinting and you hit a button when you're at maximum speed, you slide across the ground instead. So you kind of crouch down and slide. And then there's sprinting is still in the game to a lot of people's
chagrin,
anguish. Yeah, so you can sprint. The main difference about sprinting now, you still can't fire a weapon while you sprint. However, when you sprint, all shield recharging is turned off. So if you're hurt while you're sprinting, you don't recharge your shields at all. When you're done sprinting, you still have to wait for 3 seconds for your shields to start coming back. So 343 hopes that'll help balance sprint a little more, so when people run away from encounters, they still die, and therefore are taught not to run away from encounters.
Stand and fight.
Because that was a big problem in Halo 4 with Sprint, or one of the problems with Sprint, is that it made it really easy to get out of bad encounters. So if you made a mistake in the battle, you could just run away. And the other person can't chase you down, because if they start sprinting after you, they can't shoot you while they're sprinting. And while you're running away, your shields start recharging. And then you can just re-encounter them once again.
Don't you think, Spartans are all supposed to be super soldiers and shit? Don't you think they should be able to run and shoot at the same time? I mean, really? Don't you think they would have gotten that training kind of out of the way pretty early on?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the Covenant got so far. Maybe that's why the Covenant got so far.
You can either run or shoot. You can't do both.
Yeah, that's just me. I don't know.
But yeah, Pac-Man also mentioned I think they call it the Super Scope or something along those lines. Basically, it's that every gun can zoom in. So not necessarily.
What about non-guns?
Not necessarily. Like the gravity hammer. Can you zoom in with the gravity hammer? Let's see. Yeah. So you can zoom in. When you get shot, it pulls you away from the zoom. But you don't get your rate of fire doesn't change. Nothing really changes when you zoom in, except it's like all the other Halo games when you zoom in. Like I know Call of Duty, for example, your movement speed slows down, and there's a couple other changes when you zoom in, but none of that's really coming to Halo. It's the same old zoom. It's just Spartans have a super scope attached to their helmet.
Super scope.
Yeah. So what do you guys?
I could see that kind of making sense, fiction-wise.
I don't know.
What?
I feel like I'm still bitter about Reach.
Well, I mean, you think it is the future. You'd think they would have some sort of optics built into every gun that would work with armor,
I'm not even talking
and
scope, but just I feel like there's just more stuff being shoved into the games. Whereas the reason Halo, at least I feel the reason Halo CE 2 and 3 were so successful is that it was simple. You have your close range weapons, your medium range weapons, your long range weapons, one for Covey, one for human, and that was it. And then everything else was up to the player to make the difference. Halo 3 introduced the utilities like the bubble shield and the camo and things like that, and those were placed on the map, and so that became part of the strategy of controlling the space.
Control the rockets, control the overshield, control the bubble shield.
But with everybody, and the thing with Reach with the loadouts and Halo 4 loadouts makes me want to pull my hair out, because you never know what anybody else is going to have. And so it's not even a matter of strategizing to control the map. It's thinking about, okay, well, what loadout do I need for this map? I mean, because if you don't get the jetpack on, what's the one I hate on Reach? The circle one that goes up like this?
Sword base?
Sword base, yeah. If you don't have a jetpack on sword base, you're an idiot.
It's kind of tough to say, what's that Reach map I hate?
I know. That
like, well?
But I mean, that's the thing, is that I feel like they throw all this stuff in there, and it doesn't really work with the maps, and it doesn't really work with the game. And then, so I'm glad to hear they're taking out loadouts, because again, that to me is a really yucky thing. But I'm more worried about the story. So, well, whatever they do to the gameplay, I'll adjust to it. Just don't ruin the story. That's my main concern.
Who is writing? Do we know who is writing the story now for Halo 5?
Some 343 person.
Like they didn't bring in anybody like a known writer or someone that's handled the Halo science fiction up to this point. Any of the writers or anything that have done any of the novels?
No, they haven't. Karen Travis or Greg Bear or Nyland, they haven't brought any of them in. Not that I'm aware of, at least.
That's unfortunate.
I think their content creation team is probably tackling it, and I mean they already kind of have their arc. And I remember talking about that with the release of Halo 4, is that this is a new trilogy arc, and we've got things laid out, and we're going to explore Chief's humanity and things like that.
And that's something that's much nicer than when Bungie did their trilogy, because Bungie's trilogy really was just one game at a time without a kind of plan of where it was going. But at least 343 has a plan for where Halo 4, 5, and 6 are going to go.
I'm just scared.
Yeah, what that plan is.
I'm scared.
So, Riley, what do you think about the Halo 5 stuff?
The stuff that you just talked about?
Yeah.
I like the optic thing, whatever, with the helmet scopes. I don't know, it just makes sense to me. That sounds kind of cool. Well, how it plays out, I don't know. Whatever. I'm terrible at the game, so it's not like that's going to really change anything. As long as I have like warthogs and some sort of mongoose-like vehicle to drive, and I can build racetracks at some point and then run over people and laugh like a maniac.
Yeah.
You know what else I like? I like vehicles like tanks. I like the Scorpion because that's just. It's like, I mean, how do you beat the Scorpion? I sat on a map once and just cross map people with the Scorpion once, and people got really mad at me. And then I did that. What's the Covenant tank?
The Wraith.
The Wraith. That was like the first game I went and didn't die in the whole game and got whatever a whole bunch of kills was. I was in a Wraith and I was just dropping artillery on people. Killed my own team a few times, but.
It happens.
That's
fun.
Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
They said hi. She said hi. Yeah, that was like, so yeah, as long as there's cool vehicles, I'm happy. I'd like to see some of the Halo Wars vehicles, because those are pretty cool vehicles, too. More vehicles.
Driven around on the Gun Goose, and that was a lot of fun.
Is it just like a mongoose with a gun?
Yeah. I don't know how effective it's going to be.
You know what I think would be really cool is if you could like go into custom games and change the colors of the vehicles themselves. Like you can change the Spartan colors. Like if you could change the vehicle colors.
You can.
In
3 and Forge mode, they have alternate skins for some of the vehicles.
Uh-huh.
I believe there's a golden warthog. And I also believe that there's a heretic banshee, a golden banshee.
So there's only like one option color.
Yeah, there's like a couple different.
No, I want every color you can change your Spartan. I want a matching vehicle color
Right to the paint shop.
and number plates.
Yeah.
Halo 5 Forza edition.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
I'm a little.
That would be pretty cool. You guys saw the picture of the flaming warthog I sent you, huh? Right.
Yes.
The only
Yeah.
warthogs I know of that are flaming, about
Very
to blow
tiny.
up. So I was a little scared about the package. Just gonna put the package down. This one's gonna blow.
I'm a little concerned about Halo 5 gameplay wise because I feel like you are exactly right when you say they just keep throwing stuff in. Like Reach was obviously not balanced well. Like the rumor is Bungie was using Reach as an alpha test for Destiny, trying to figure out what would work and what doesn't work because it was the last Halo game. They didn't care all that much, and so they threw in loadouts, they threw in all these extra abilities and all these random crap just to see what sticks and what doesn't stick. And I'm afraid that 343 took the. I mean, if you were to map out the Halo games, Reach was by far the most radical change in the entire series, and everything that's come after it, all the changes have Reach to blame or credit because it was just so radically different from what came before it. 343's tried to turn things back a little bit. No, now that they're getting rid of loadouts, they're going back to equal starts for everybody. But still, having all of these extra abilities, it worries me that the maps are going to be too big. Things aren't going to be well balanced, and it's just going to be way too far from the Halo that we used to know from Halo 1, 2, and 3.
And it's not that we want the same game. Like, I think about the changes that were made from, like, Halo 1 to Halo 2 and Halo 2 to Halo 3. They all enhanced that foundational, like, arena shooter gameplay.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember we were playing Halo 2, and I kept plasma pistoling the ghost, and it wouldn't die. And I'm like, what the hell?
It wouldn't get zapped, yeah.
It wouldn't zap. And then Cal was like, well, that doesn't happen until Halo 3. And I was like, oh!
Or Halo 1 where you try to jack a Banshee.
And you can't.
You can't.
So, like, the changes that they made, the dual wielding Halo 2, I mean, those were things that enhanced the gameplay based on the arena shooter model, and then Reach just kind of was like, screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah.
And by home, I mean to hell. I don't like
Wow.
Reach. I have very strong feelings.
Simon is not in Halo Reach, so...
But yeah, it makes me worried from where Halo 5 is going to go. I'm sure I am very easy to please, and I enjoy all the Halo games and playing them. I thought they were all fine and fun. But I am worried that Halo 5 won't be as great as the other Halo games, particularly 1, 2, and 3, just because it seems to get away from the simple, Spartan, not all of these crazy Spartan abilities. So it makes me a little worried. And that's before we even get into any of the story stuff. We'll probably have to save that for another podcast. Because replaying Halo 2's campaign and then playing Halo 3's campaign right now, it just really firms up a lot of my opinions about Halo's story and where, in my opinion, it went off the rails. But we can save that for another podcast.
Well, I want to get into our top 3 for this week because it's kind of on this topic. And our top 3 for this week was our top 3 launch moments. So
yeah, like video game launches.
So Cal, why don't you start us off?
Sure. Well, we picked this topic because Master Chief Collection was not the best launch in history, and we wanted to, talk about some of the happier moments of video game launches. So I would say my first one would be the Halo 2 launch. Halo 2.
Okay.
So about 10 years ago. I remember I was in college, 2004. And coming back from class, I ordered the game online. I don't remember, Amazon or EB Games or something like that, and it got delivered the day of release. So about 10 a.m., I picked up my copy at the dorms, went right upstairs, booted up the campaign, started playing through all the campaign stuff. So I got through, I think, through Sacred Icon on my very first day, playing through it. And I think I played on Heroic, but I was still having a lot of trouble getting through it because I was still bad at the time. So it was pretty fun playing through the campaign for the very first time. And I also remember the day afterwards, I finally beat the Halo 2 campaign after playing for like a day. I got to the very end, Master Chief finishing this fight, the whole thing, credits rolled. And then afterwards has the cutscene with Gravemind and Cortana. And I was like, oh crap, I forgot Cortana. That's right, I forgot her, left her behind. Oops. And I was like, you forgot Cortana? How could you forget Cortana? Oops. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. That was a cool launch.
I think that's my same number 3 launch. Mostly because what I distinctly remember is that you got the game a day early. Is that it arrived a day before launch, and so we got to play it early. And I thought that was like the coolest thing ever, was that I got to play Halo 2 before anybody else got to play it.
Yeah.
What about you, Riley? What's one of your top 3 game or otherwise launch stories?
I don't really have any good launch stories. And, well, part of that you got to remember is I'm 3 hours behind like you guys. And just about everybody else gets everything before I do. So I have to sit there and, suffer through, oh, by the way, we've got the game, we're playing it. And I'm like, F you, it's only freaking 9 o'clock here, So, and I don't do a whole lot of launch, really anything. The few games I have launched, probably the one that sticks out the most in my mind was when I pre-ordered, I think it was Dirt 2 or 3 on Amazon. And I pre-ordered it as soon as it came out because I was pretty excited about the game. And it showed up 2 weeks after the game came out.
Oh.
Yeah, so I wasn't real happy with that. Because I could have just...
memorable experience.
Yeah, I could have just gone down to the store and bought it. So, yeah, that's... We can.
Oh, you must love you're gonna love digital distribution then, because I know for at least from the Master Chief Collection, it unlocked for everybody in the United States at 12 Eastern. So you could.
Oh, that's cool.
So, for example, if you downloaded this digitally, you could start playing, or rather, sit in a matchmaking lobby unable to find a game starting at 9 p.m.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, that whole digital download thing, I was always against it because I'm kind of like, I'd rather have the hard copy of the disc with me. But ever since I got, I've got Titanfall on digital. And then because I'd pre-ordered Destiny a while back, and I got the disc for Destiny, and it's like, I realized how much more lazy I actually am, that if the disc isn't in the console, and I actually have to get up and go put it in and take whatever's in the console out, that just really feels like a big inconvenience to me.
So just picture a year from now when we're playing, Grifball on Halo 5, and you could just easily say, Xbox, go to the Master Chief Collection, and boom, we're playing Halo 3 Grifball. Xbox, go to Halo 5, and all of a sudden we're playing Halo 5 Grifball. It's like instantaneous.
Yep. All right, Cal, what's your number 2 launch experience?
I'd say Halo 3.
Stop taking off!
All you guys are the same, aren't they?
Halo 3 at the 2007, September 2007. At the time, Goose was working at GameStop near where our house was in college. And Halo 3 launch night, we bought a Legendary Edition to play. We bought two legendary editions. Because at the time, we were not married, and we were worried that if we broke up, we would...
That's really funny.
We would each need our own helmet. We couldn't just have one to share. So we got 2, and we still have 2 Master Chief helmets from the Halo 3 Legendary Editions. I think we still have one of the bonus discs, too, that's still sealed in its wrapping, because we only need one of those. But yeah, so we brought it home the night it was released. We stayed up. We played through Floodgate, I believe, through the campaign. And then the next day we finished the campaign, but I can let Goose tell that story.
We finished the fight.
And what happened?
We finished it.
And what happened to you?
We finished the fight.
Goose cried. She cried at the end.
At the end of which one?
Halo 3.
Oh, okay.
Because she thought Master Chief was dead.
I was an emotional wreck.
Yeah.
I cried through the entire credits.
That's the one where he goes into the cryo freeze thing at the end, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But before the credits, it's all about Memorial 117.
Right.
The Arbiter says, "Oh, we're so easy that we killed him," and all that.
Yeah.
Well, since that was my number 2, I'll think of another one. I remember when Skyrim launched. Cal drugged me to Best Buy at like 8 o'clock in the morning. Because there was no one doing a midnight launch, so we were there when Best Buy opened at 8 o'clock in the morning. And he got like the super duper edition. So there's this giant box. It's like 2 by 2 by 2.
So an Alduin statue right over there.
Because there's this dragon statue in it. And so he goes and he's like the only one there. And nobody else is even picking the game up. And here comes Cal, just like super happy. I even have a picture of it somewhere. This big old grin on his face because he's got this giant box of Skyrim on it. And he starts like unboxing it. And then he starts playing. And he plays, I'm not even kidding, probably about 16 hours.
Yes.
Straight?
Without stopping.
Yeah.
Wow.
He didn't eat. He didn't pee. He didn't do anything. And I remember just once I finally got him away from it, I throttled him and I yelled at him and I was so mad.
That was for
Skyrim,
right?
Skyrim, yeah.
I remember when we were at PAX and he was all I went and I made my elf and my blah blah. He was all excited for that.
And then the moral of the story is we went and got a second Xbox. Because that was my big thing, is that he was playing for 16 hours on our only TV, on our only Xbox. What the hell am I supposed to do? So we went out and got another Xbox. And it's been happy ever since.
That's what we did. We got a second one.
All right, Riley, so what's your second launch story, if you can think of one?
I don't know if it's a launch story or not, but your little story just reminded me of when I got my 360. When the 360 first came out, if you remember, the pre-order went up pretty early, and they were pre-ordered out pretty fast. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't fast enough to get a pre-order in. So remember the first day they all sold out, and then they didn't have any for, I don't know, a couple months or whatever. And so I was waiting, and we kept going to check in and look and see when they come out. And I don't remember if there wasn't an announcement or anything, but we just happened to walk into Best Buy, and they had this guy at the table, and he had like a dozen of them just sitting there, and we're like, and I was like, and the funny thing is for one of my birthdays, I don't remember which one it was, that year I'd been given a whole bunch of Best Buy gift cards to buy a 360 and games and stuff like that, right? So I had all these I didn't bring them with me because I didn't think they were out yet again. So I'm sitting here and I told Debbie, she was with me, I go, one of us has to wait here and hold one of these while the other one goes home and gets. So we did that. So I think I drove home. I think Debbie sat there at the guy, and the guy's like, "Oh, you don't have to worry about it." She goes, "No, you don't understand. I'm staying here and holding on to this." So I raced home, got my gift cards, came back, and got my 360.
Aww.
Nice.
It was pretty funny.
Good story.
Nice.
All right, Cal, what's your number one?
All right, number one. Rewind 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. I can't remember that far.
1994. The game Phantasy Star 4 just came out from the Sega Genesis. And Phantasy Star 3 was the first RPG I ever played and still remains one of my absolute favorite games to this day. Phantasy Star 4 was absolutely awesome. And what my family did is we rented PS4, not the PlayStation 4.
You rented it, huh?
Yeah, we rented Phantasy Star 4 first from a local video game rental place. My dad did most of the gaming of it, had the controller while we were all working together to beat the game. And we made about a third of the way through before we had to return the game, because there was a puzzle in the game where you face this boss that you try to attack, but every single weapon only does 1 damage. So you had to figure out to use a specific item in that battle to neutralize his defenses so you can actually do damage to him. And it was a puzzle we figured out after we'd returned the game. So we bought it as soon as we could right afterwards. And then we beat it as a family in a weekend.
Aww.
My dad, that's the last video game my dad has ever played, was 20 years ago. When, he was working the controller as a family when we were working through that game. We beat the RPG in a weekend. And it was pretty amazing.
That's a pretty cool story.
Very cool. Well, for my number one, I cheated. I decided to play with the word launch. And so my number one launch experience was when we learned to launch in Halo 3. And I was so excited because as Ways and Means Committee, there's the opening launch in Halo 3, and we didn't know how to do it. And so on the Rooster Teeth forum on Grifball.com, Cal posted and said, "Hey, will anybody teach us how to launch that opening launch?" And that one rocker, that was his name, he was on that one team, said, "Well, if you're not dicking around, then yeah, I'll do it." And we weren't dicking around. And
That's funny.
He showed us how to launch, and then we started launching, and then from there on out, we kind of expanded on it ourselves. So yeah, that's my favorite launching memory. What about you, Riley? What's your number one?
I don't really have a favorite or a number one. Probably the best actual launch, game launch I went to, besides when Halo 4 came out and I was standing in line and I was wearing my Oregon Ducks sweatshirt and a guy walked by, he's like, "Go Ducks!" real loud. And I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Oh, fun." Probably the best launch I actually went to was the one where my friend Mark went with me, and we just kind of hung out in line for, I don't know, a couple hours before Reach. I think it was Halo Reach came out. And it's just hung out and bullshitted and that type of stuff. Nothing special, but, you know.
Hey, they're good memories.
Pac-Man's got a couple.
Yeah, he's been sharing them in the chat box.
So he played nonstop through Assassin's Creed 4 when it came out, and he was speaking in a pirate accent afterwards. And then he went to the MCC launch, and he hung out and got pizza and off-brand soda and played 4 players.
Off-brand soda.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Good memories. All right, so that's our top 3. And again, if you want to recommend top 3, tweet at me or post on the Hub, send me a PM, go to the Hubcast thread. Any of those are perfectly viable options. We do try to keep them in line with whatever the theme of the Hubcast is, but would love to hear your suggestions for top 3s. And then I guess we should... Well, one thing I wanted to mention, because we were talking about things selling out really fast, is PAX East badges. PAX East badges went on sale, I think, yesterday.
And now they're gone.
That doesn't surprise me.
So we managed to snag 2 3 days, and our hotel as well. So if you grabbed it, awesome. If you didn't, well,
tough shit. there's always eBay.
That's what I'll have to say about that. But so yeah, bloop bloop. They came and they went for PAX badges.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
well, speaking of things selling out.
We haven't sold out of Grifties yet, but you should totally make that happen.
Our store launched this week.
Have people been buying them already, or?
We got some.
Okay.
And it's our store launched, put it up on Wednesday. So now you can buy the vintage Grif tee, which is in black and white. You can buy the Grifball Pro tee, which was our most popular item at RTAC. Then you can also buy the World Tour tee as well.
Yep.
I like the World Tour tee. I still wear it.
Nice. And speaking of selling stuff, we are exploring exhibiting at Iron Gaming Columbus, which is next month, mid-December. Mm-hmm. So there's a thread in the forum, so if you can go to that, it's going to be in the Midwest, in Columbus, Ohio. Post in that thread, because we'll be making a decision about that very soon.
Very soon. We'd be there selling t-shirts and stuff, too.
Yep, and probably have a cash prize for a Grifball tournament.
That would be the plan.
Cash monies?
And, fortunately, in retrospect, this is a really good thing. We'll be playing on the Xbox 360.
Yes.
And not on the Master Chief portion.
Some divine intervention right there.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I haven't forgotten the comic, but before I do the comic, I wanted to touch on, because we already talked about the AGGL and how that's kind of up in the air. But the AGLA is in playoffs right now, at least for Pro. And I've got kind of the latest breakdown. So I know Next Dimension has the first seed, and Notorious has the second, and Uplifted has the wild card. So that's your Hammer Conference. For Sword Conference, Pro Run is the first seed, which I think we all knew was coming. Retroactive got the second seed, and One Hit Wonders has the third seed. And I know that there were games that went down, I think just yesterday or the day before, but I haven't seen anything as far as content or updates on the front page. Nobody has sent me.
I believe Notorious won.
Notorious won? Do you know who they beat?
Whoever they were playing.
Whoever they were playing.
Uplifted, perhaps.
Okay.
But I think Notorious won.
So Pro is underway. I haven't heard anything about AMI, but then again, my team didn't make playoffs, so that might be why I haven't heard anything about AMI playoffs either. So, yes, that's still going on. Piggies did a playoff predictions posting, so an all-star. The all-stars are still being voted on, so you can definitely do that. Which reminds me that what's today? Today's
Thursday, the 13th.
13th. Okay, so nominations for Grifballer of the month should be opening in 2 days.
Nice.
So keep that in mind as well.
Pac-Man says he owes us $1, but Pac-Man, if you want to give us that $1, just buy a T-shirt.
There you go.
Oh, check you out.
Or more. Or
buy 2 T-shirts.
Buy 3.
And since it is getting to be Christmas season, be sure to use that Hub affiliate link
For Loot Crate?
Well, yeah. Well,
I did the Loot Crate thing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Yay!
You didn't see my post on the thing?
No.
On the admin forum thing?
I must have missed it.
Oh yeah, you should go look at my post.
I will. I will go look at your post. Now I'm going to go look. But yeah, so our Loot Crate is really awesome because we're now an affiliate with them. So if you do a Loot Crate quote unquote subscription, you can do it for 1 month. I think it's 3 months and then 6 months. 1 month I think is $13 plus shipping and handling, and it's a battle theme this month. So I think
it's more than that. It comes out to about $20 with everything.
Okay.
For 1 month.
And then you get a discount. The hub has a 10% discount, but I think if you use the discount battle, it's $3 off instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you use the 10% hub discount, it's a whole $1.30.
Woohoo!
$1.30.
So definitely use the battle one, BATTLE. And then, but it's got Mega Man, it's got Halo in it. They were talking about, they have an exclusive t-shirt in it, which the last t-shirts, they've put out 4 t-shirts before, and they've all been really, really awesome. So there's some kind of surprise t-shirt in there, and that will be very cool. We actually have a question in the chat box. Anyone make any cool Grifball maps in Halo 3 Anniversary, or Halo 3A? Yet, so let's see your easy target. No, because you can't forge in Halo 3 right now with objectives.
Yeah, it's bugged.
Broken.
It's broken. You can't do objective game types forging in Halo 3 right now. 343 is fixing it, but they have more pressing concerns right now that need more immediate attention.
Yes.
So as soon as that's done, we'll have some Grifball maps in Halo 3 again.
Yeah. So yeah, again, Loot Crate. Go to lootcrate.com/GrifballHub. That's how you get the affiliate. And the awesome thing is that not only do you get really cool stuff, but we get a cut. So that way you're supporting the hub, doing awesome things for yourself. So it's win-win. And then as always, the GrifballHub affiliate link for Amazon, because it's Christmas shopping time.
Yeah.
So, just buy your stuff and it helps us out too.
Yeah, buy some nice things.
So that way we can keep the lights on.
Yep.
Yay.
Awesome.
All right, Raleigh, I think it's time to transition to the comic.
Okay. That's all you guys.
Oh, that is true. So
I'm just a spectator.
Comic is back.
Funny story. When I was drawing it, Debbie walked by, and in the last panel, she goes, "Is that a kangaroo?"
Well, I mean, considering where she's from, I can see how that might be, a schema for her. All right, Cal, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, so this is Grifball comic number 104, The Return of Cowbell.
With enthusiasm.
Hey! I'm home!
Cal! You're home!
I've missed you so much!
I've missed you too, and now you're finally home!
Simon, did you miss me?
You have got to be kidding me.
Oh, hi, Goosey. When did you get here?
I hate you.
That's okay. You're really excited I'm home so I can clean the litter box.
Yeah.
I like how Simon is so happy.
He is,
Oh, bug-eyed, and then he's smiling.
He's got stripes, too. He has stripes,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, he has stripes.
He has very faint orange stripes.
Yep. I spent some time looking for a picture of Simon. I couldn't find one.
You captured his likeness very well, especially the big vacant eyes.
Vacant.
Well, then I found one picture of one of your cats, but I couldn't tell which one it was, so I was like, whatever, I'll just guess.
He's orange. It's simple. He's orange.
They both orange, aren't they? One of them's just got white on it.
Yeah, one has a white belly.
Yeah.
Simon is just all orange.
Yeah, River's got white, which is an interesting thing because that's one way you can tell cats male and female. Is that female cats, because they have 2 X chromosomes, they can have more colors than male cats.
That's why tortoiseshells are always females. And crazy.
Like River, for example, has 2 different colors. Well, 3 different. She has 2 shades of orange and white, but Simon, being a male, can only have 2 colors, so he's only have 2 shades of orange and no white.
And a pink nose.
And a big nose. Yeah.
And an empty head.
And an empty head.
I love the Simon impressions. It always makes me laugh.
Simon cat. Oh, geez, was there anything else I want to...
We're going for mini poops.
I don't know why I find that so funny.
I don't either.
Many poops.
But yeah, so if you want to get caught up on the issues that are impacting Grifball in Halo 4, Cal has a really great article on the front page. I'm sorry, and the MCC, Cal has a really good article on the front page. He also did
I was just surprised at, when we started, getting feedback from folks from last night and everything we've seen in the last 2 days, the list just kept growing. Just kept going.
I'm sorry, was I allowed to talk now?
Yeah. Do you have anything else we need to cover on the Hubcast?
So I'm just kind of scrolling through the front page real quick, seeing if there's anything. But it's been a busy couple days with all of this stuff going through, and I think that's about all we've got as far. We didn't have a lot of Grifball news, but again, the GGL hasn't started yet, and the AGLA is.
Dead Dragon suggests that Simon should have said in the comic, or thought in the comic, you were going for mini poops.
Oh, why do I always forget the best lines afterwards?
Yes, I can attest to how many poops you were gone for because I was cleaning them all.
Maybe the next comic I'll do like Simon Cam. We'll like follow Simon around.
Yeah.
Does he sniff butts? Because I might be draw.
He likes to lick River's butt.
Like,
he sleeps a lot, and he howls. He howls a lot.
Max does that. He walks around the house like going, "Rah!" And he has this little furred feather like thing on a stick that he carries around. It's ridiculous. He thinks he's a dog.
Oh,
he dumb.
I can't think of anything else. Cal,
want to get back to playing campaign?
Yeah, we need to go kill a scarab. And we're streaming it, so everybody should stay tuned and watch us stream us killing a scarab. Pac-Man was like the only one watching, and it was awesome because he was there supporting us, and we appreciated it because we're bad. I used to be good.
Sure.
Back in the day.
I was never good.
It's probably easier that way.
Yeah, it's, whatever.
All right, well, that is it for the Grifball Hubcast. Thank you all for tuning in. And
Pac-Man wants us to mention the Random Act of Kindness Award.
It's going. People are still doing kind things.
Yeah,
so.
keep being awesome on the forums, and you'll keep getting Random Act of Kindness points.
Yeah. But that's it for the Grifball Hubcast. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And, hanging out. Listening to us live or whenever, I guess, you get around to it. We appreciate it. You're waving. Cal's waving. You can't see it because this is audio. But Riley's waving, so we're all waving. And tune in next Wednesday. Hopefully we'll have Wednesday Griff Brawl.
Yeah, we'll find some games.
We'll find something. And then obviously we're here every Thursday at 11 p.m. So thank you to Cal and Riley for being co-hosts.
No problem.
So you got upgraded from guest.
You're no longer the guest, Cal.
Been doing this for 4 years.
You back. Hashtag you back.
I back.
That sounds like a new Apple product.
I back? It does, doesn't it?
I back.
All right. Well, that's it. Bye.
Bye, people.